Summer is in full swing and the 4th of July is coming up, Independence Day, which is like rib day here in the US. A lot of people make ribs along with other things, but really for the 4th of July, I love making ribs. So I'm gonna be making some St. Louis cut pork ribs out on the Hunsaker Vortex Drum Smoker. I'm gonna be hanging them, but I'm not gonna be hanging full slabs. I'm gonna be cutting these racks in half. I just find that's a little bit safer when you're hanging ribs. If you've ever done that in a drum smoker, a pit barrel cooker, and you hang some ribs in there, and somewhere in that cook they get really tender and they drop. Well, if you cut them in half and do half racks, a little less weight on those hooks and it tends to hold better. The other thing is, I'm not removing the membrane. That membrane provides structure when you're hanging ribs, and I just find it works really well, and I've never had a complaint when people are eating them. So let's get started. I've got 3 racks here of St. Louis cut pork ribs, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just going to kind of cut them in half here. I'm just gonna pick my center point roughly, and I'm going to cut. You can use a knife, you can use scissors, whatever you want. And if anything does need to be trimmed off, if I see any like excess fat or anything, I can trim it right there. But we're doing these the easy way today. Ah, see, here we go, little extra flap here. We'll just get that off. Let me see, I'll go on this one right here. Now I'm just gonna season these, and what I'm using today is Texas rib grind from Chicken Fried Barbecue. Really great rub. We've got a lot of good surface moisture here, no need for a binder, so let's get to it. I may have to stack these to fit them on the rack, but that's all right. And these are gonna go in the refrigerator overnight, my usual procedure, so that they get a good amount of time to soak in this flavor. Let's see, let's give the back a quick little dusting here. Hopefully I've got enough rub. I'm running low. Gotta order some more. All right, let's see how I can fit these on here. I know we're gonna have to do a little stacking, that's all right. Give a little extra dusting here on the top for these. Maybe if I turn these this way, these shorter pieces, I might be able to get mostly to fit. Almost. A little bit of a game of Tetris there. There we go, our sort of interestingly arranged racks of ribs here, our half racks. They're gonna go in the refrigerator overnight, and I'll see you tomorrow out at the Hunsaker Vortex Drum Smoker. All right, the Hunsaker Vortex Drum Smoker is up to temp. My target range today is 250 to 275. This smoker really likes 275, but I wanna try and keep it on that lower range if I can. So I'll play with the vents and try and get it there. I'm smoking with cherry wood today. Got no water pan, but I do have a lower rack in there, as you saw, and what that's for is to catch a rack of ribs that might fall. Now with the half racks, that's less likely, there's less weight on the hooks, but you never know, I've had it happen. I will be looking to spritz after about 2 hours. We will check and see how we're doing. It's gonna be pretty hot today, close to 100 degrees with a fair amount of humidity. So we'll see how we're doing on the moisture part of this. Well, let's get our ribs on. So you can see that the Hunsaker has this rib hanging attachment here. Works really well. Hanging chickens, ribs, anything. And I've tried to place the hook on these ribs so that it is 2 bones down from the top. And so like here, if you want, you could just hang it in the center like this. I'll put that one in the center. All right, let's get this closed up, get smoking, and I'll come back here and check in about 2 hours. We are at the 2-hour mark. The temp's been holding really steady in that 250 to 275 range. Want to keep it closer to the 250, and it's been 260-ish, so I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead and check these ribs. Oh yeah. We are getting amazing pullback right now, the meat from the bones here. Really good. Let's get a closer look. Want to do a little bit of a tenderness check. That is feeling very tender. So I'm going to get this rack of ribs back on. We are feeling pretty tender. We're not quite there yet, but these may be 2.5-hour ribs. So I'm going to close this up and let these go for about another 30 minutes. Then I'm going to take them off, put them in a pan, cover it with foil, and let them rest for about 30 minutes. But these are cooking quickly. That's one of the great things about cooking on a drum smoker or a pit barrel cooker or something like that. You just have that heat coming up, passing the ribs that can't miss them. So I'll see you back here in 30 minutes when we get these ribs off. All right, we are at 2.5 hours, and I'm 99.9% certain that these are done because they were really close at the 2-hour mark. Love drum smokers for cooking ribs. You get a great flavor, a great smell, and you can cook them more quickly, even at a moderate temperature like 250, 275. Let's start unloading these here. Look at that pullback. But there we go, a pile of ribs. All right, I'm gonna get these into foil pan, cover it with foil, and let it rest for 30 minutes, and then we're gonna have a taste. So our ribs have been resting for 30 minutes. I have 3 of the half racks out here. We're just gonna pick one of these and move these others out of the way. Got really nice color and texture on here. And we're just gonna cut in, see how we did. Oh, look at that. Look at that juice. That is nice and juicy. Really, really juicy. Now this is a little bit of a departure for me because most of the time when I do ribs like this, I will put a glaze on near the end. I had half thought about it, but then once I saw how quickly these were moving, I decided no, we're just gonna go with straight up dry rub ribs today, and I think they've really turned out nice. So I'm gonna dive in here and get a bite. That is exactly how I like my ribs, bite away from the bone, not fall off the bone. Just like that, where you get a nice bite, the meat pulls away. Fantastic flavor and juice in this. That Texas rib grind from Chicken Fried Barbecue is a great rub, especially if you're gonna be doing ribs with no sauce or anything. Now, you could add sauce later to these. I could glaze this right now, but this has such a fantastic flavor on these ribs just by itself and with some of that cherry wood smoke. Super happy with this and extra super happy with the time it took. I didn't plan on 2.5 hours. I planned on more like 3 to 4 hours because that's usually what it takes, but it's hard to remember sometimes that the drum smoker is an extremely efficient way to cook things like ribs when they're hanging. That heat just comes up, surrounds them, and they cook quickly sometimes. So you gotta be ready to play it by ear and just call an audible and enjoy some ribs sooner than you expected.